Hey guys, in this video we're going to be looking at HubFit's nutrition system. I'm going to show you how the nutrition builder works, how you can assign the nutrition plans to your client, and then how the nutrition plans look like from the client side. So let's jump right into it. Over here I'm in the nutrition tab of our library. So this is where you can build out your library of meal plans. You'll see here there are three options. You have a section for your meal plans, you have a section for your meals, and then you also have one for your foods. I'm going to jump into each one of these. For now we're going to look at the plans section. So here you'll see we have 3 meal plans in our library. So to create a nutrition plan, you'll see this add plan option. Here you'll see that you can add a name, a description, and then you can pick the type of meal. So with HubFit there's two types of nutrition plans you can have. You can have a full meal plan. So a meal plan is a way to build meals with recipes, ingredients, instructions, or you can just have a macros plan. So instead of assigning a full meal plan, you can just give them the macros goal for the meal or for the day. I'm going to show you what both looks like, but first let's look at meal plans. So I have this training day meal plan. I'll go ahead and click on this. Here we have our meal. The first thing you'll see is that you have your macros at the top here, and then you have your meals. Here you can see we have, for example, breakfast, and in this breakfast meal there are two different options. We have option 1 and option 2. You can add multiple different options per meal. To create a meal, you'll see this add meal button. Here you'll have 4 options to create a meal. You can add something directly from your library. You can use the HubFit library, or you can use AI to create a meal, or if you want you can just create a new meal from scratch. I'm gonna go ahead and select something from my own library. So here I'll click on fish and steamed vegetables. So if I scroll to the bottom, you'll see we have this new meal. So if I go ahead and click on this meal, you'll see the meal builder pops up. The meal builder is how you can create and modify each meal. Here you'll see on the left, you have the food section, and you have both your own food library or the food database that you can use. What's nice is if there's something that's not in the food database, maybe a specific brand or a specific ingredient, you can always add it into your own library. And here you'll see you have the option to edit the name. So if you want to edit the name, you can just click on this and modify the name. If you want to edit the description, you have this, and if you want to edit the meal image, you can click on this and change the image. Here you have the macros for the meal, and then here you'll see 2 options. One is the ingredients, so this is where you can add all your ingredients. At the moment we have fish and mixed vegetables, and you'll see here you have the servings. So if I want to modify this, let's say we want to have 210 grams, you can modify that. And what's nice is as you're editing the serving size, this updates in real time, so it makes it easier for you to modify the serving sizes to get the macros that you want. Let's add a new ingredient. So let's say we want to add some sweet potatoes. We have sweet potatoes here. I'm gonna go ahead and click on this plus icon, and just like that, this has been added into our meal. I can go ahead and modify the servings. Let's say we want 100 grams of sweet potato, and just like that, we've modified the serving. Now if you want to add a description or modify the name of the food, you can always do that by clicking this button over here. So if I click on this, I can say, then I can add this description, and here you can see the description shows right here. And if you want to add instructions for the meal, you can click on this instructions here, and then you can add a specific instruction or prep instructions. Anything you want can be added directly in this instructions section. You also have this button here which allows you to save a meal to your library. So let's say you create something in your client's meal plan or in your meal plan template, and you want to actually save that meal to your library so you can reuse it later. You can just click on this, and then you can do save, and now that meal has been added to your own meal library. So that's everything with the meal builder. It's very easy to use and you have full control over the meal. We can also add an alternative. So let's say we want multiple options. If you click on this drop down over here, you'll see that there's an add alternative. I'll click on this, and let's say we also want to add some beef stir fry. And now we have 2 options for this meal. Now you'll see here, this is called meal 5. Let's actually rename this. So if I click on this drop down, I can do rename this block, and I can call this, for example, dinner. I'll do rename, and now we've created a dinner meal with 2 options. You'll see here you have these 2 options. This edit option allows you to edit the meal plan name and description, and then you also have this reposition option. This allows you to reposition your meal, so I can move, let's say we want to have snack just before lunch, and you can also reorder the options within the meal. So I want maybe this first, and then I'll do save order. And just like that, we've reordered our meal. So that's everything for creating a meal plan. I'm gonna head back to our plans, and now I'm gonna show you the macros plan. So over here we have a macros plan. So let's go ahead and click on this. Here you'll see you have the ability to create a plan by just specifying the macros. So for example, I've said breakfast. For this breakfast meal, I've added the macros that we want. I've added some notes, and I've added the meal name. To add a meal, I can just click on this add meal option. And then if I scroll to the bottom, you'll see here, I can say snack 2. I can give it a description. And then I can just specify the macros that we want them to have. So this is a way to give them a plan by just specifying macros. You also have the option to either have macros by meal, which is what you have here. You have the macros breakdown at a meal level, or you can just have a total macros plan instead of breaking it down by meal. So if I switch this to total macros, you'll see here I can just specify the macros without having to specify it at a meal level. Next, let's head over to the meals tab, and here you'll see you have your own meals that you've created. You can create them directly in your meal library, or you can export them from your meal plan like we saw earlier. Here, if I click on a meal, you'll see it's the same editor that we just saw earlier on. The one difference is you'll see this category option, and this allows you to categorize your meals so that you can filter through them when you're searching for them. Here you have your foods library. I showed you earlier you can create your own food in the meal builder. Whenever you create a food, it goes into this food library, which is your own personal food library. So that's everything when it comes to creating your nutrition plans and how your library works. I'm now going to show you how you can use this with a client. So over here I have a client open, and we are in the nutrition section of their profile. Right now I have meal plans open. There's also a nutrition logger. There's a separate video for that if you want more information on how that works. Over here you can see there are 2 nutrition plans for this client. If I click on this nutrition plan, you'll see it's the exact same interface, so the editor and everything works the same way. You'll see here you have an option to add a plan for this client. So if I click on this, you'll see you have 2 options. You can create a plan from scratch, which would take you through the exact same steps we went through, or you can import something from your library. If you import something from your library, it creates a copy. And what that means is that you can modify the imported plan without affecting your library. So you can import something to your client's plan, modify it for that specific client, and it won't affect your own library. Another thing that's nice is you can add multiple plans for a client. So if you want to split it into certain days, such as training day or rest day, you can do so. If you want to split it by weekdays, you can also do that. Or if you want to give them different options. So that's everything to create in meal plans from both client side and the coach side. I'm now going to jump into the client app to show you how these nutrition plans look like on the client side. So right now I am logged in as a client in the client app, and I have the nutrition tab open, and I'm in the meal plans option. So here we have a meal plan open. I have the training day meal. Here you can see the macros for the meal, and then all the meals in this meal plan. So here, for example, we have lunch. You'll see the total calories for this meal along with the macros for this meal. If I go ahead and click on this meal, I can view the meal. Here you'll see you have the image with the name, the calories, the macros. Here is the ingredients. They can view the servings. If you add a custom note to an ingredient, they can view that here. And if you attach any instructions, they can be viewed at the bottom. There's also this option to log the meal. So this allows the user to log their meals directly from their meal plan into the nutrition tracker. So it would work like this. They click on log meal. They get prompted to pick the meal they want to log it into. So let's say we want to log this into lunch. I can do log meal, and that's now logged into the nutrition logger. So I'll quickly show you what that looks like if we head back to the log food section. Here you'll see we just logged this meal directly from our meal plan. There's 2 options over here beside each meal. The first option is to log the meal from the outside without having to open the meal. Then there's this option here that is displayed if you've attached multiple options. So here, for example, the breakfast meal, if I click on the meal options, I can see that there are 4 different meal options that I can switch out to. If you've given the client multiple different nutrition plans, they can switch to the different ones using this button here. So you'll see here we have multiple different meal plans. If I click on rest day meal plans, I can switch and view that rest day meal plan. I also have a macros plan to show you what that looks like. So here we have a macros plan. If I click on this, you'll see this is just a macros plan that is split by meals. So here we have breakfast and the macros for that meal. Over here we have the total macros for this meal plan. So that is everything when it comes to the nutrition builder on the HubFit platform and how it's viewed on the client app. If you have any questions or anything, feel free to leave them in the comments below.